In this super short video, I'm going to show you a word-for-word email that I sent to my list literally last week, and it generated 24 sales calls in 2 hours of this email being sent to the list. I'm going to show you the word-for-word email script itself, and bear in mind, every single one of these calls that it generated was genuinely qualified for our offer, which our qualification point is any agency owner or coach who are making above 25K per month. Every single call this email generated was a qualified call. So with that being said, let me just jump straight in and just show you the exact email. It's actually stupidly simple, and I highly recommend you run a very similar email template to your own list, because I guarantee you it will get you a good handful of qualified sales calls come through. So this is the email, super basic. This actually works so well that I've now added it into the email automation that I have. As you know, when somebody opts into our funnel, I've actually added this to that email automation just because of how well it performed as a blast to the list. Okay, so here's the email. It's super simple. Yo, Kai here. Quick question, do you need more qualified sales calls? So already, instantly, I'm calling out the problem on my market. Now, if you have a highly strict qualification criteria with your market, for example, let's say you only work with companies, let's say you run a marketing agency and you only work with companies who are spending more than 2K per day on ads, then what you would want to do is you would want to qualify in this question as well as call out the problem by virtue of asking the question. So how you would do this is, you know, if you're working with people who spend more than 2K per day in their ads, probably a common problem of that market would be maintaining profit margins while scaling ad spend, right? It's like how to scale without your ROAS dropping. That's probably a core problem of the market. So a question you would ask here is, for example, quick question, does your ROAS continue to drop below break even every time you scale your daily ad spend past 3,500 per day? So you can see that I'm calling out the problem of the market, and I'm also subtly qualifying who this message is actually for. Does that make sense? So obviously, if they answer yes to the question, which they should, because it's the core problem of the market and who should be receiving this email is your market, right? And so by the very nature of the question, they should answer yes to the question, which obviously by extension means they're going to continue reading, right? Okay, so let me go into the reason why you're asking, basically. So the reason why I ask is because just this past week, September 12th to September 16th, here's a few results our client got. I added this in because obviously this was a blast, so I could genuinely reference this last week, but I added this into our automation, and so I just took this little section here out about saying the date. But if you can say the dates, it's just going to increase transparency, which obviously is going to increase conversion, right? So as I say, I asked that question, do you need more qualified sales calls? The reason why is because just this past week, here's a few results our client got. And then I proceed to list a couple client results. Okay, so Shibga took 25 calls last week, closed 6 clients at $2,500 per month price point with a 6-month contract. On Friday, Sean booked 6 qualified calls at $15 per call. Andrea booked 15 calls during this last week and closed 2 new clients at 3K with only $300 in ad spend. That's a 20x cash ROI. Christian booked 4 calls at $62.50 per call in the first 2 days of his ads being launched. Mark closed another 15K per month client. He works with companies doing over 150K a month, and we're booking him calls at $180 cost per call at the moment. Okay, so that was the results section. Now, just a super short bit on the results, which is the results have to match exactly who you're going after. So for example, going back to my example I used before, if you're calling out people here by saying, does your ROAS drop every time you scale your ad spend past 3,500 per day, and then you proceed to list off a bunch of results that show proof of you scaling ad spend from 500 per day to 1,500 per day, 100 per day to 500 per day, then there's a huge disconnect, and you're not going to get the quality of prospects booking in a call that you want. One thing that's important to note here is, for example, Shibga, he took 25 calls last week. So right now, roughly, and these are obviously real results, right? So like with one of our clients, Shibga now, he's roughly booking in about 100 calls per month. So that's some pretty good scale. So agencies and coaches who are just starting out, they don't know, how to, they don't know an offer, they don't have anything, don't have any current clients, they're not going to naturally resonate with this message as much as if I said, hey, we took this client from 0 to 10K, right? They're not going to resonate with this message, which is good because I don't want those people booking in calls with us anyway, right? And so here, right, you can see another one. Mark closed a 15K per month client, right? He closed 1 client, 15K a month. Like, beginners just can't fathom that size of a client, right? And that's good because we don't work with beginners anyway, right? So when you state your results, you need to make sure that they relate to the ideal prospect that you're actually trying to speak to, okay? And then from here, I tie all of these results to what it is that we do, okay? Which is all the above results are from cold ads, which we run entirely done for you for all of our clients. Okay. And so then I instantly state our offer, which is, so if you need more qualified sales calls on your calendar, we'll guarantee you 90 qualified sales calls in the next 30 days or you literally don't pay a cent. So this here is super important, that this needs to tie into exactly, again, what it is that your ideal client actually wants. You can see here with one of our clients, Mark, I referenced, he works with companies doing above 150K per month, and we're booking in qualified calls at 180 per call at the moment, right? Well, these companies, guess what they want to do? They want to hit $1 million a month, right? Companies who are between like 200 and 300, 500K per month, they want to scale to $1 million a month. So his offer is, we'll guarantee to scale to $1 million per month in the next 12 months. My offer is for agencies and coaches doing above 25K per month. So my offer is, we'll guarantee you 90 qualified sales calls in the next 30 days or you literally don't pay a cent, right? Because it relates to the prospect that I'm trying to go after. When my prospects see this offer, they resonate with it because they want 90 qualified sales calls a month. Whereas again, a beginner in my case would only probably want 10 calls a month, right? Or 15 calls a month, right? So that's a super important part on the offer. And then simply we just finish it off with a CTA, which is, if this is something that interests you, book a call. And then this link goes straight to a book call page with a calendar on it. There's no VSL here. I probably could have redirected this to the VSL, but I know that all of these opt-ins, who this email went to, which by the way was only I think it was like 6,500 lead list, so it's pretty small to be honest. But they all opted into our VSL funnel in the past, so they probably already watched our VSL. So I literally just redirected them straight to a calendar page. And on the calendar, I just call out again who this is for. I go through our offer again, I restate our offer, and then I restate the CTA. So schedule a call and we'll show you how, only if you're above 25K per month. So again, we're like making sure that the quality is there. And then that is literally it. That's the entire email. It's super basic. You can do one of these per week. I'm going to start doing this just because of how well it performed. I'll just do one of these per week. And then obviously each week I'll just update the results from that past week, right? And that's it. So if you've got a lead list right now of 1,000 leads that have opted in, or you've got 5,000 or 10,000 email list, or whatever the size is really, I highly recommend you structure an email similar to this and send it out to the list and watch the calls come through, provided that your list is actually full of like real people who genuinely have these problems here. So hopefully that helped, and I'll see you in the next training.